So this is perhaps a dated picture of Rabbi Yosef Chaim Mimran. I think that you have to know that, like the Chofetz Chaim, Rabbi Mimran is what they call an itinerant fundraiser for his different projects. And so I met him as he was raising funds. Just nobody knew who he was, except my chavrusa knew who he was, who we call Reb Poloni. He knew him very well, and he invited him to come to speak to us. And began speaking about something called monkey talk. That's what he called it. It's just the way I remember it. Just the two of us listening to Rabbi Mimran. And he's talking about what's going on in our mind all the time. And this is the focus that he wants to bring to our attention. A lot can be said about this, and a lot of people try to say things. I just think this is the way that Rabbi Mimran writes, in a very short form. Gives us a chance to digest some of the deeper ideas of clinging to God. So let's go over to this next piece here. It's called The World to Come. So this is the Torah Hamicha of Rav Yaakov Sekali. Ponder the ways of Hashem and His wonders and anything else He is able to grasp of Him. Now, when He mediates on this, it will bring Him immense pleasure as His perception will become perfected. This, in return, will drive His mind to have an intense longing to follow Hashem's commandments, since His mind will now choose to follow desirable things and flee from lowly ones. Now, we have quite a few people who listen to the shiurim on Rabbi Mimran because they're so fantastic, and they actually apply to everybody, whether you're Jewish or not. But it's important for people who are not Jewish to understand that the Torah has the principle of positive and negative commandments. There are things that we have to do and things we have to refrain from doing. That's part of Jewish life for these thousands of years. So this is ingrained in us, and as a result of that, we learn. Stay away from this, go towards that. For example, we're not allowed to eat the meat of an animal which does not chew its cud. It has cloven hoofs. Its hoofs are completely split. So we don't eat the meat of the pig, not because there's something wrong with pigs, but because they don't qualify for the kind of meat that the Torah says that we can eat. And subsequently, we don't eat pork meat because the pig, well, it has cloven hoofs, but it doesn't chew its cud, so it doesn't qualify. And there are a lot of other animals like this as well. So this causes a separation between us and Gentiles, say, for example, who eat whatever they want. So we have there are many, there's 613 commandments. So therefore, there's a lot to study, a lot to look at, a lot to try to use to be able to reach perfection. Now, going back to what Rabbi Mimran writes, let's just listen to Rabbi Mimran. The watcher of the mind, and this is a principle that he wants to beat into us or pound into us, to remember to watch what you're thinking will receive a deeper and wider significance of his purpose in life. When this is practiced, and he says once again, being the watcher or the witness, one finds oneself withdrawing consciousness from negative, repetitive thought patterns that have been troubling him for years. It keeps going around and around. Consequently, the watcher, pure consciousness beyond form, becomes stronger, and the mental formations of thought and their hold on him become weaker. When we talk about watching the mind, we are personalizing an event that is truly of cosmic significance. Now, this is the Kabbalah of mind control that he is talking about, is that we can switch from the cycle of the thoughts that are going around over and over and over again to watching them. Through you, the totality of all soul consciousness is awakening out of identification with form and withdrawing from form. Now, let's see what this meant. I think I should have translated something down below. Let's try it again. He writes, when we talk about watching the mind, We are personalizing an event that is truly of cosmic significance. Now, what does that mean? Through you, the totality of all soul consciousness is awakening out of identification with form and withdrawing from form. I'm not sure what this means. Identification with form, that is who we are. We're always looking at the other God, looks better than me, looks tall, looks short, whatever way. We're all identifying with the form. But when we watch ourselves doing that, we're withdrawing from the form. We're going to a higher level. He wants to say that this world is really a series of forms that have a tremendous energies within inside of them, but we're never looking at the energies inside, which are the godliness of them, which is the energy that makes them work as they do. I'm talking here about the planets and the fact that the Earth is moving and that people are running around and doing all kinds of different things. All this is form. This foreshadows, but it's already part of an event that is probably still in the near future as far as chronological time is concerned. The event called Olam Haba. Now let's try to understand this. The event is called Olam Haba, the world to come, which will be the end of the natural world, but the beginning of a new spiritual world. As is known, this will be ushered in by God's messenger, the Mashiach, as mentioned countless times in the Torah. So this is a definition, a Jewish definition of what the Messiah is. The Messiah is like a change artist. He's the ultimate agent of change. Change from what? Change from the physical, going around and around and around as the world goes, constantly changing, constantly moving, to a higher level, being able to look at that and be beyond it. When consciousness frees itself from its identification with physical and mental forms, it becomes what we call pure awakened consciousness or pure soul energy. Even though this very real and powerful state of being in its fullness has only been achieved by a minor amount of our population, there's very few people that could reach this level. And the majority of people are still in the grip of their egoic mode of consciousness, which constantly, even if you try and do this, but the world constantly changing in front of you, and it's very easy to get yourself back into egoic consciousness. Why is this happening? What do I need to do? What's going to be? And that's our survival. That's a very basic part of us. But there's an aspect that can look at that. So most people are still identified and run by their mind. Nevertheless, the state of being which leads to a total attachment to God will be the norm in the future, as explained earlier. That there will be a time, that's what it actually means, the end of the world. The end of the world is our devotion to our physical bodies. It's a problem, because they don't last, and there's tremendous illusion about the forms. But inside of that, that's what we need to connect to. The consciousness frees itself from its identification with physical and mental forms. It becomes what we call pure awakened consciousness or pure soul energy. You've been listening to the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and this is Rabbi Yosef Chaim Mimran's tremendous book, The Ultimate Connection with God.